Hollywood wants to ban YouTube movie critics. I know why. Yeah, I think we all know why.
So I wasn't going to talk about any YouTube movie critics for a while, as I had just wrapped up my 3-part series on
the critical drinker nuked Marvel and did what Thanos couldn't. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen the video, so maybe he has a compelling argument, but I don't think this is true. You know what I think nuked Marvel? Marvel. Because they created a 10-year storyline and it ended. The story's fucking over. Nobody cares about any of the Eternals. I don't even know any of their names. I know there's the big red guy that's the Celestial. It's like something the Seeker, Apollyon the Seeker. Other than that, I don't give a fuck about it. Yeah, I know Angelina Jolie's in there. That's the only thing I know. So who cares? Anyway, that's what I think.
However, recent articles have forced me into speaking out, because while this won't be my most well-edited or longest video that I've made, it's definitely going to be one of my most important, because I really feel passionate about this topic.
Ooh.
Because sadly, I'm starting to notice a massive shift in the Hollywood blame game that I think is utterly ridiculous. Because
every single time, this is the thing, people always try to argue against, they always try to argue that it's somebody, oh, well, it's not that the movie sucks, it's that, it's like these people on YouTube are, like, making people not want to see the movie, and so, like, it's actually YouTube that's the reason why nobody wants people to watch, nobody wants to watch our movies. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what is this?
Hollywood has seemingly gone from blaming toxic fans for failures to now targeting online movie critics.
The reason why people were obsessed with the Madam Web movie is because I think it was like the perfect example of the age-old question with Hollywood movies nowadays. Who asked? Spider-Man, like, you want to do a Spider-Man movie that's going to pop off? Do a Miles Morales Spider-Man movie. People fucking love that. Just do that. Madam Web? What the fuck is this? What are you talking about? It would be sick. It would be fucking awesome. So, like, why do you keep trying to do the thing that people, like, it's just, I don't even know what Madam Web, I've never even heard of this. Do you don't want to know? You want to know why people went to go see Thor? Because they grew up reading comics of Thor. Do you want to know why people went to go see Iron Man? Because they grew up reading comics of Iron Man. Who the fuck is Madam Web? Let's be honest. The only time that you can have an unknown superhero, or, like, you know, like a main, like, kind of like almost semi-superhero movie that's that works with, like, a random female character is if she's really fucking hot. And I think the best example, it isn't a superhero movie, but it's pretty goddamn close, is Underworld. She was so hot, it started an entire franchise. Let's be real, the movie wasn't that great, but I saw it 50 times.
Because as you all know, just a month ago, I covered how somehow critics like The Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic were being blamed for Madam Web's failure. And now we're getting more articles come from the entertainment industry that are choosing to attack content creators from articles of actors blaming...
Toxic online hatred cost her acting roles. What?
Online criticism for their career downfall, and while I don't know what this specific article is about, and I am a fan of Anne Hathaway, I'm just using this as an example, and we're also getting other articles targeting the so-called review...
The Little Mermaid's review bombing is just a sign of what's to come. What, people that don't like a movie? Well, people aren't liking these kinds of movies. You know what? It is a sign of what's to come. And here's what the sign is. Stop exhuming old IPs and then trying to change them in some modern audience kind of way just so you can renew the copyright on it because you're afraid of it going into the public domain. How about that?
bombing of movies, to now gaming companies threatening legal action against content creators for reporting a negative story about the company.
No, hold up. What's this? I gotta look at it real quick. Sweet Baby Inc. style consulting company Black Girl Gamers threatens legal action over that Park Place gaming website over defamatory allegations. They go to say that they will pursue legal action against anyone who links to the Park Place's article or spreads it in any manner.
Company that apparently
threatening legal action upon discovering to obtain legal counsel, take action against publication and journalists. I don't even know what this is. You generally live my life via pattern recognition, find out a few tactics are actually common. Escalation is always interesting. Black Girl Gamers was filled with Black Girl Gamers. If it wasn't, I'd ask why.
Is true.
I don't even know what happened.
And they're quoting real sources and real articles that have come out about this
company. Nobody showed me this.
They're still threatening to sue these very content creators.
Ooh.
And just because that is a legal situation, I think I should add that I don't know all the details. I'm just saying it's reportedly true. But what is definitely
true, so it doesn't really matter, and I don't give a fuck. Okay, next.
Is that they're coming out and saying that they will threaten to sue content creators for making a video and reporting on articles that
I want to read it. I want to see it for myself. Content creators who reshared the false allegations about our organization. We will continue to pursue further action against anyone who persists in spreading false and defamatory information against Black Girl Gamers. Well, wouldn't that mean that they're suing themselves because they linked to it themselves? Because, like, they did just link the website. And, like, if you go to the website, this is the website. It literally shows the website that they're telling people not to talk about. I wonder who wrote this. I'm sure it's someone who's really smart. How do you do this to yourself? How do you do this? Like, this is crazy. It's very smart. Yeah. It's a Streisand effect in action. It's not, though, because they're doing it themselves. Okay, so yeah, no, I mean, what he's saying in this video does seem to be mostly accurate. It is. This is actually accurate. Again, I didn't believe it. I looked at it. It seems like it's true.
Have come out about that company.
Come on, pug. Touch me and I'll sue. Sue me for what?
And I'd say that this shift is happening in the overall entertainment industry because Hollywood now understands that attacking the very people that you want to watch your movies is an utterly dumb idea and is only going to aggravate the audience and result in you losing more money.
The Marvels was only 200. Who are the Marvels? Oh, this one? Yeah, I don't know who the fuck these guys are. I don't know any of these characters. I didn't even know, bro. I thought Captain Marvel, like, I didn't even know Captain Marvel existed. It's crazy that, like, these people are doing mental gymnastics to figure out why a movie like this isn't successful. Marvel was successful because it capitalized on nostalgia. This isn't doing that. Like, it capitalized on nostalgia, it got people invested, and then the movies were, hey, guys, I gotta say it. I think some of the Marvel movies were really cool. I really liked them. Like, I liked the Thor movie. I loved Infinity War. I thought the Captain America movie was really cool. Iron Man 1. I watched that in movie theaters with my dad, I'm pretty sure. Endgame, yeah, like Thor 3, yeah, Ragnarok was fucking amazing. I love that one. I don't have anything negative. So, Doctor Strange, I think is, I don't know, is he my favorite? He might be. I really like Doctor Strange, and like a lot of the Marvel movies were good, but like I remember the characters, right? I grew up with these characters. I didn't grow up with these characters. I don't know who the fuck they are. So like, I would never even go to the movie to find out that it's good. Whereas like the Thor movie, I went to the movie because, oh, this is like nostalgia. But there's no impulse that gets me to go into the movie theater in the first place. And so if they want to blame a YouTuber for the reason why they decided to go with an unpopular story, I don't know. I don't really think that's like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just do Doctor Doom? Like, why not? Like, why would you do this other weird bullshit? Because he's a white male? Well, he's bad, though. And Because diversity is Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer movie wasn't great, okay? It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great.
Yet they still, for some reason, don't want to take any sort of accountability.
And also, like, can we just say that a lot of these superhero movies are for guys? Like, guys like reading comic books and pretending like they're Thor. Like, so it's like you have a fully female cast, and there's no, like, sex appeal of the content, like Underworld, for example, right? The one I used before. Well, then guys aren't going to give a fuck about it. Like, it's again, you remember what I said before? People are it's like we have to rediscover fire. Are we really going to act like all the people that were watching? Like, how many people do you think reading the Hulk are men? I would say 98%. People act like gender barriers don't matter. Of course they do. They're trying to capture a new audience while assuming the old audience will stay. They're trying to capture a new audience. Man, that works. That always works. It's like, was it not enough for you to have the greatest and most successful cinematic universe in history? That wasn't enough. Yeah, it's like, like let's try something else now. No.
And are looking for more people to shift the blame towards, and now they've settled on the idea of attacking online movie criticism, coming from people like The Critical Drinker, like Nerdrotic, like Jeremy Jahns. They're choosing to attack these people because they view this as an easier scapegoat and an easier way to blame their failures on someone else without aggravating the audience that they're choosing to make these movies for. However, why this is still a very dumb idea is because you're now attacking people that the fans of your movies listen to, respect, and watch on a daily basis.
I think that also, like, I'm looking at this movie, nothing about this movie seems like a superhero movie. Except whenever they do superhero things. The truth is that, like, the original Avengers casting was so god tier that I don't know if, like, there will probably never be another superhero casting, like, collectively, like, of a lot of different people at the same time, that is that good ever again. Like, every single person fit their role fucking perfectly. It was insane how good it was.
You're also going to aggravate the very people that you're trying not to aggravate now, so you're probably going to
this
lose
doesn't look
more
like a
money
superhero
through
movie.
this new strategy than you were before. So once again, they've settled on a downright stupid idea. And now, this shift has been gradual, as The Critical Drinker started being blamed just over 2 years ago.
Well, hold up. The recent Predator movie was torn apart by commenters before it even released because the heroic protagonist was female and the story revolved around the tribe of Native Americans. I watched this video. It's literally just racist and sexist. Okay.
I think there was a Forbes article that highlighted one of his videos, saying that somehow damaged the reputation of Rings of Power and was part of the
That's the reason why it wasn't successful. It's because of a YouTube video that had 2 million views. Yeah, there was a YouTube video that said that it was bad. I see now. If it wasn't for that YouTube video, it would have been, dude, it would have been so good. It was actually good though. The Rings of Power was good. No, it wasn't. So it just reminds me, like, my mom never got a chance to watch Rings of Power. I remember, like, so at Christmas we saw all the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then 10 years later we came back to watch The Hobbit in movie theaters too on Christmas, right? Me, my mom, and my dad. I remember looking over at my mom watching The Hobbit. She was like this. At the movie theater. She's just fucking sleeping. So I can't imagine what this would be like. Because then I watched part of this with my dad. And I watched it with my dad. My dad, 5 minutes in. Like, I remember we went to Cracker Barrel. We came back and we went to watch this. 5 minutes into the show, maybe 10. He's like this. He's just sitting there, passed the fuck out.
reason that
This shit was
series
boring.
failed, when, as we all know, Rings of Power just wasn't on the same level
Yeah.
as the original Lord of the Rings movies. Overall, people didn't like it, and he wasn't the only critic that voiced complaints around that show.
Yeah, like it's all his fault. Look at this armor, bro. This shit looks stupid as fuck. This looks so this looks like, bro, this looks like if you had to make Iron Man, but you only had $35. You know? That's basically what this is. It's garbage. Like, how do you have $1 billion and you do this?
Pretty much most critics out there
It's
said
Tin
that
Man.
this show wasn't great, yet they chose to target him because it seemed like an easy escape.
It's like at what point do you find it to be problematic that the more charismatic and likable character is actually a satanic demon that has actually followed in the footsteps of Satan himself and is cosplaying as a human? So, like, at what point, if your main character is less likable than the main agent of Satan, do you think maybe you messed up? Being likable is the point? It is, and that's how he got them to wear the rings. But at the same time, the audience should not... Like, for example, like, there are characters that are charismatic, but at the same time, it's very clear that they're bad characters and people don't really like them. Like Dio or Thanos, something like that. Jamie
so that
Lannister,
all started
yeah.
to happen just over 2 years ago.
Asmongold, yeah.
However, now it's really
fucking
ramping
Vinland
up,
Saga,
and
yeah.
that's why I feel that I have to say something as both a movie fan,
Bro.
and that's why I feel that
This is not a superhero. This is fucking cringe. Like, this is just... This is weird, man. What's the effect? Yeah, it's just not... It doesn't... I feel like this isn't really a super... This is like a TV show or something like that. Even the filter's wrong? Yeah, like, what the fuck?
I have to say something as both a movie fan and an online movie critic myself. Because like I've already said, attacking YouTube movie critics is an easy scapegoat. However, the reality...
Yeah, of course, because it's like if you complain about internet movie critics, you don't have to come to terms with the fact that you made a bad movie. And so it's like, well, it's not my fault. It's the movie critic's fault. It's somebody else's fault. It's all of the YouTube. It's the people that are rating the movie negatively. It's their fault that they don't like it.
Is that if people didn't agree with these online critics, they wouldn't have the following that they have.
Thank you. Fucking thank you. Exactly, bro. The reason why Critical Drinker and these other people, the reason why they're popular is because people agree with them. So if you're getting mad at them, don't hate the player, hate the game. Because the people that are following and subscribing are doing that because they don't like the game. Like, Critical Drinker is just simply a conduit for people to voice their frustrations. He's saying what they already think. He's not making people believe something. And I've said this before with the internet. Most people that are consuming content on the internet are not consuming it to be educated. They're consuming it to be reassured. They want to know that the opinion that they already have is true. And also, if this was also such an unpopular opinion and these people were just forcing people into believing this, wouldn't the market naturally course correct and have like other content creators and people that are creating videos that are positive about these movies? Wouldn't those people just gain more popularity? It's just, again, these people hate, and this is what I was saying before, right? Is that these people hate the idea of a free market. Whether it's a free market of ideas or power or anything, because they can't compete in a free market. And so whenever you can't compete in a free market, you try to make rules.
and therefore they wouldn't be important enough to try and blame them for your failures. So clearly YouTube critics are saying something right and are clearly resonating with fans, and fans are agreeing with people like The Critical Drinker and Jeremy Jahns because they're saying things that ring true, and they're speaking from the opinion of the audiences of these movies and shows. So these critics should be seen as a streamlined view of what fans are thinking, and studios should really listen to these critics and try and take on some of their opinions. And
well, if you think that the critics are wrong, that's totally fine. You can think the critics are wrong, but you can't say the critics don't exist, or that the reason, like, the popularity of this criticism is because people agree with it. It's that simple. It's the same thing that, like, you know what people are saying about how content creators killed Diablo 4? And remember whenever everybody was blaming Josh Strife Hayes for killing New World because he said that the town in, what was it, Morningdale was the exact same as the town in Everfall? Like, they literally copy-pasted, like, they took one city and then they put the exact same city in another place in the game. And Josh made a video about this. He said, hey guys, you see this? And people are like, oh, well, okay, so now he's killing the game. It was nuts.
I'm not saying they should only listen to these critics and do everything that they say, as of course they need to think for themselves as well. However, you do
Nothing says Marvel like getting in a fight at a Waffle House. Oh yeah, this is a superhero movie. Yeah, they're about to get in a fight at a Waffle House. Holy fuck, man. Who thought this was a good idea?
To listen to this criticism, especially when it's getting millions of views.
Superheroes, and I'm already a superhero
that's what
movie.
the audience is thinking. And a lot of the time, the criticism around these shows and movies revolves around the storytelling, revolves around the pacing, the beats, tangible filmmaking elements that make for a good series or a good movie. So why not listen to that and try and implement that in your next few films? Because
they don't want to. They want to do it their way. They want to do it, and I think they want to do it their way, like to spite the people that are complaining. But like the thing is that whenever you put a movie out like this, and I don't know, is this like, what was the box office for this movie? It's very hard for me to say, but I'm not sure. Your budget $274 million, gross. Ooh, so did they lose money on? Ew, wow. So they lost $70 million. That's the thing, is that this type of movie and this type of content will eventually die. It will. It will eventually die. And I think that, like, because you got to think about, like, the people that are making these movies and trying to push, like, weird shit and, like, these random characters and stuff like this. The people that run the companies don't care about this, right? They just, they let it happen to the extent that it doesn't cause them to lose money. But whenever they're losing money, they're not going to be okay with it.
Clearly, big budget movies as of late haven't been as good as they were just a few years ago, and that's got nothing to do with any sort of toxic fan, and that's got nothing to do with any sort of hatred or bigotry. It has a lot more to do with the simple fact that the stories aren't as good. So why not listen to the very people that you make these stories for? Because I do think that an underlying reason for why these Hollywood
I think the reason why they don't want to do that, so the reason why they don't want to listen to the people that they make the movies for is because they're in denial. They're in denial that the majority of people that watch Marvel movies are young boys, and they got taken to the Marvel movie by their 30, 35, or 45-year-old dad who grew up watching or like reading Thor comics. That's the market. So if you're not making content for that audience, you're losing. That's it. Same with Star Wars. Star Wars, yes, exactly. Like, we used to go out How many of you guys had those plastic lightsabers and it was like the little tubes and each one would come out and it was like you could do it like this and the lightsaber would come out, right? Plastic, whoa, we had a lot of them, right? We went out there and we were fighting with lightsabers every fucking day. And you know what? Looking back on it, none of the girls hardly ever participated in that. Maybe one of them. It was all guys doing that. So that's the real audience. It's a lot of guys. So shit. Yeah, no shit. No shit. Obviously no shit, right? Fucking obviously. But it's, again, cavemen rediscovering fire. People are in denial of what the obvious truth is. I am a girl, I did that? Oh, for sure. I know there's some girls that did it. But for every girl that does it, there's 10 guys. That's my point. Of course girls do it. Duh. But it's not as common. So if you make a movie that's not going to like appeal to like that base audience, then you're going to get 10% of the audience. Right? It's pretty simple.
This online criticism so much is because they view these YouTube critics as just idiots in a basement who know nothing about storytelling and are just speaking out of their ass, and they shouldn't pay them any attention. However, to succeed in any endeavor requires you to have some talent and a lot of hard work behind it. And so the reason that the Critical Drinker and Jeremy Jahns have these big followings and have succeeded on
because
YouTube
people agree with
is
them.
because they know what they're talking about. They're not just some random...
It's not even that they know what they're talking about. You can be totally full of shit and crazy, but if there's a bunch of other people who are totally full of shit and crazy, you're going to be popular. And at the end of the day, the market the market has no obligation to be accurate. It is what it is. So if you don't like what it is, that's fine. If you think they're all wrong, that's fine. But that's not going to change everybody's opinion. You're not going to be able to tell them, oh, well, you're wrong. You should think the way that I think. And then everybody decides to change their mind. Think about, for example, how many controversies I've been in and gone against my own community. And I think I'm right. Obviously I do. But a lot of people don't.
Idiot saying anything they want. They're good at their job, and that's why people follow them, because they say things that resonate with audiences.
Yeah, that people agree with. It's that simple. It's crazy. Like, I don't even understand this. Bro's watching a dog shit red pill rage movies. Are you unhappy that what do you mean? No, I want to understand this. What about this is inaccurate? What is it? What about this is wrong? Because the reason I'm only going to pull up one person. I'm only going to pull up one guy. I want to understand this. Is this... come on. Come on. You're really going to do this? Very ignorant tank. You mix empathy with centrism. You came into my chat. You've been wanting to argue with me. Don't tell me that you got pulled up. You have your chance and you're going to roach out. Are you really going to roach out? You're trying to, you tried to say something. What are you trying to say? Alt account? Yeah, it actually probably is, because he made the account and followed on the same day. I'll give him like 1 or 2 minutes and then we're going to move on, okay? It seems like there's no response. Oh, there it is. Nah, brother, I'm just high. I saw you click these stupid ass videos. Okay, well, just get out of it. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with it. I'm high. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I don't want to deal with it. Oh, yeah, here we go.
And so given the fact that the Critical Drinker can bring in more...
Can I also say that I didn't even know there was a new Predator movie? I had no idea.
People per YouTube video than a lot of big budget Marvel productions bring into the cinema.
And also, by the way, the Predator movie, the original Predator movie, wasn't about the Predator. It was about Arnold Schwarzenegger and the other guys that were out in the jungle fighting him. It didn't have anything to do with the fucking Predator. Like, oh, it's just... oh, God. They don't even understand what the fuck. Rip Carl Weathers? Yeah, that was the black guy that was in that movie too. Yeah, it was about them. And you know what, by the way? Guess who watched a lot? Like, how many guys do you think watched the Predator movie? A lot. I remember my dad. I watched Predator with my dad for the first time, and he said, "Don't tell your mom I let you see this." I remember this very fucking clearly.
Clearly, he knows a thing or two about crafting a good narrative, entertaining audiences, and building a good rapport with his fans. So why not learn from that? Why not listen? Clearly, he knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't just make YouTube videos. He also writes novels, which are top sellers on Amazon, and also is now making a short film, so he knows how to craft a story. He's not just an idiot from a basement. He actually has skin in the game and knows a thing or two about the storytelling industry. And so, as a movie fan and critic...
Well, at the end of the day, right? It's like if you want to make a video or make a movie and it's not popular, you've got every right to do that. And there are, like, for example, Armored Core 6. It's a game, but I'll use it as an example. Armored Core 6 was never going to sell as well as Elden Ring. It was just impossible for this to happen. So if you're making a movie and you're doing something that's more of like an indie film and it has a more niche audience, that doesn't make it bad. Like, it's not like something is bad. So if they're making these movies and they feel like, oh, well, this is good, but like, don't make a movie that's unpopular. And also, like, From Software says Armored Core was a huge success. It did great. It's amazing. Now, did it sell as many as Elden Ring? No, because they knew it wouldn't. And so it's about having realistic expectations. It's the same as, like, for example, if I'm playing a random game, it's not going to have the same audience than if I'm playing a really big popular game. Of course. How do people not understand that?
I just want an industry that can work with one another. I just don't see why movie creators should hate critics and why critics should hate movie creators.
Well, they're not hating movie creators. A lot of times what they're hating is the movie critic industry. I think most people in general don't really, or they dislike also production studios. But I think in terms of like individual actors and individual directors, I don't really think that a lot of movie audiences have as much disdain for them as they do for production studios and like the movie media industry. That's what people are really against.
Honestly feel that we both need each other and should learn from one another.
Yeah, obviously.
Because Hollywood studios should take feedback on board from critics, and all critics should try and do is hold movies accountable and push an industry that we all love to be at the highest standard possible and to continue to grow. And unfortunately, YouTube has become one of the few places...
Oh, I remember seeing this. Rotten Tomatoes under fire's report claims PR firm manipulated review score. Yeah, I remember, like, whenever this happened, I think I made a video about it. Obviously, this is bad, and I think that they've always done this. I think you should always treat every review, like, you shouldn't look at review for, like, how to get my opinion. You should look at it as, like, how to augment my opinion. Like, don't just listen to what somebody says and then take it seriously. They haven't been doing this for years. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't really... I think this is why you need to, like, trust individuals rather than companies and like, groups, because they just get compromised. Like, that's just what happens. Eventually, critics will become part of the system. Yeah, I think it's, like, definitely an ecosystem in that way. Narcissistic directors just want to see their own worldview in these movies and kind of want to change how males think, like suppress male instinct, but that's nature. Me like big man smash things, hee hee. Yeah, I think that really it's just, if you want to go after a different audience of people and, like, you know, a more, like, kind of broad audience besides young guys with superhero movies, then you can go ahead and do that. But you shouldn't be surprised whenever that original audience for superhero movies doesn't feel like it's about them. It's like, do you want to know who one of the richest directors is? Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry makes one kind of movie. And you know what? You know what's crazy about this, too? He's big. He's not big. He's fucking huge. He's stupid rich. Like, this dude is, like, insanely... Yeah, the black comedians. Yes, exactly. And he has his audience, and he makes content for that audience, and he is he a fucking billionaire? I bet he is. Net worth. Yep, he sure fucking is. And you know why? Because he knows what his audience is. How is he so rich? There it is. Owning every piece top down, created Tyler Perry Studios. How much is the estate worth? Yeah. This dude is fucking farming because he makes content for his audience. And you know what? He's also a good actor. Like, I've seen him in a few of other movies. He is a good actor. But he makes content for his audience. Dreadful Films, though? Well, guess what? 1.4 billion people disagree with you. And they fucking love those movies. That's it. Play to your audience. And also, if he does something different and it doesn't do well, it's not the audience's fault. That's just the way it goes.
Real honest criticism, as I don't follow critics based on if I agree with every single point they make. I follow critics based on whether or not I feel they're telling the truth and whether or not they're just being honest about their opinion. And that's why I watch people from John Campier to The Critical Drinker to Jeremy Jahns to Robert Meyer Burnett. I watch people of all different opinions who sometimes have opinions that clash, but that's a good thing because they're just being honest. And I'd hate to see an industry that I love so much try to eradicate honest feedback and try to eradicate true criticism, because
well, that's absolutely what's happening. And also, I think that's what the majority of this, like, movies have been like this and controlled like this, in my opinion. I bet it's been like this for the majority of time that movies have been around. I think that the YouTube, like, people being able to create their own independent following and then make their own content and self-publish that content, I think that's incredibly new. And of course they want to control that. Because I bet if you were writing articles that were negative about movies in like the 60s or like the 40s or something like that, you would probably have people telling you, hey, don't say this about this movie. Absolutely.
Movie criticism has been around since the time that movies began. So I just feel like it's my job to speak out and fight for honest movie criticism when I see the rise of attacking critics online, because it's just so dumb and I just see no merit in that argument. But what are your thoughts on this?
You're never going to get anywhere telling the people that watch your content that they're wrong and bad. You're never going to get them to agree with you. You're not going to get them to buy your movies. You're not going to get them to do anything except for leave. That's just what's going to happen.
So let me know down below in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on my next video.
You're misinformed about the new Predator movie, but decent video. Was I misinformed about it? What am I misinformed about? Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, what about this was wrong? No, by the way, while he responds, I completely agree with all this shit. I totally agree with everything that he said. I completely think so. I think that also, like, YouTube and having independent publishing platforms that aren't accountable to massive multi-billion-dollar companies, well, I guess they're at least accountable to different massive multi-billion-dollar companies, is a tremendously good thing. And I think that really that's the reason why, what do you call it? That's the reason why we can actually talk about and have conversations about movies, about content, and not have it be controlled by gatekeepers. So if I'm misinformed, yeah, what about this here? The Prey movie focused on the human characters just like the original movies did. It was loved by fans of the franchise. Budget $65 million. How much money did it make? I never really go to this website. Box office. It seems like it did well. Hulu exclusive. It was made at Hulu. Oh, shit. Okay, I get it. Yeah, all right. Yeah, if the movie was good, I don't know. I see that frame and I think it's ridiculous. So yeah, it's just like if that's the reason why they were doing it for the movie, then that's fine. I don't really think that has anything to do with it, but sure. If you focus on human characters, yeah, I'm not sure. If that's the case, like I don't really care about that one way or another. The new Predator movie was made by a former YouTube critic. It had no wokeness by design. Yeah, W Chatter. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see if the rest of this. Of course, they want to ban critics they can't control or pay off. That's basically what it is. Yeah, they can't control this person. They can't pay them off. They can't make them stop saying it. So now it's this person's fault. I think also, again, like these content creators and like, what do you call it? These like YouTube content creators, like they represent an audience. So if these videos are really popular, you should ask yourself, why are they popular? And at a certain point, you can't just keep going against your audience and fighting against them and expect that things are going to go well. Eventually, it stops working. Yeah, Predator movie was the one that before that sucked. Yeah, I don't remember. I was just saying, like, I saw the clip from it and it looked kind of stupid, to be honest. I mean, I do think it looks stupid. But, you know, I didn't see the movie. I'm not really sure. But I do think that, again, like a lot of these movies, like they are based around like the actors that are in them. And like for me, whenever I determine whether I'm going to watch a movie or not, I base it off of who's acting in the movie and who's actually in the movie itself, not even what the instance of it was. The clip was on the Predator. Cheddar freaked over nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Is this a joke? They really want to kill gaming and gamers. What is this? But oh yeah. Let me link you guys a video real quick. You can still dislike it even if 90% of people liked it. Well, I don't know. You watch based off the actors in it? Damn, I do. Oh, are people unhappy about that? Yeah, I totally do. So basically, if I'm going to watch a movie, I don't really look at what the premise for the movie is or anything else. I look at who's acting in the movie and also, like, to an extent, like, who's directing the movie. I don't really care about, like, what the story is. Like, for example, Oppenheimer is a good example of this. Like, I saw a bit of that movie. It was very good. It was a very good movie. Do I really care about anything that has to do with that movie? No, I don't give a fuck about any of this. But because the actors in the movie are good, then I'm going to be interested in it. And I think that's my best temperature check for whether I'm going to like a movie or not. That's a weird take. I'm literally the opposite. Okay. That's base to me? Yeah, it is. Okay, let me think of some examples of that. Let's see. Movies that I watched because there was an actor in it that I really, really liked. I watched Sherlock Holmes, the series, because I liked the guy that played Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch. I liked him a lot. And so I watched that series. I thought it was good. Let me think. Other examples of like movies that I watched because of the actors in it. I'd really have to think about some more of them. John Wick. Yeah, I mean, definitely John Wick. I mean, I remember my dad and I, we used to always rent all of the Jason Statham movies because it was like every movie was the exact same. So like there was kind of that, and it was like a certain style of movie. I would say like if Brad Pitt is in a movie, I would be like, okay, well, this probably would be a good movie. Training Day. Yeah, Denzel Washington. Let me think. That's actually a really good example. Like American Gangster. Like I wouldn't really be that interested in that kind of a movie. Like I don't really care about like American gangster stuff. I don't really give a shit about it. But because Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington were in it, well, I watched it because it was fucking insanely good, right? And so that's a good example. Gangs of New York. Well, I'd probably watch that one anyway. American Psycho. Yeah, maybe a bit. Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, so I do 100% based, if I'm going to watch a movie, the first thing I look at is who's in the movie. I do. I know some people might disagree with that, but for me, like, it works.